Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Snow White trailer from Disney for their new live action film that's getting a lot of backlash, a lot of controversy surrounding it. We're going to talk about what's going on with it and why I personally think that it's getting so much backlash and what I think about the trailer and the upcoming film. So let's get into it. If you haven't yet, guys, please do like and subscribe. It would really help me out in bringing you more content like this. All right, so without further ado, we're just gonna play the trailer real quick from the beginning here,
This was my father's kingdom,
starring Rachel
a place of
Zegler.
fairness. But the queen changed everything.
Is the queen.
Take him away!
Your Majesty,
What did you say?
It's not a very.
the
Let me get
people
into
need
it
some
in a second.
kindness.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated. Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Famed is thy beauty, Majesty. But a lovely maiden I now behold.
I look at you, and I just want to be the fairest of them all.
The queen is evil. You must flee into the woods.
My parents always said this forest was a magical place. Hello? Is there anybody here? Wait.
It's a human.
What did you think I was?
Nothing. Ghost.
You'll be safe from the queen here.
The queen stole everything from all of us. I'm gonna need your help. It's time to restore our kingdom.
Waiting on a wish, holding out for someday, hoping somehow, some way, there comes a miracle.
Find Snow White.
I close my eyes and see the girl I meant to be.
This is our kingdom, and now we're here to take it back.
You were saying.
I'm sorry, my dear. Did I frighten you?
Okay, so there's the trailer. There is a lot to unpack here, guys. So I guess we'll just start doing it. I'm gonna put it on loop as well, just to kind of be able to talk about it as it's playing. Let me mute it here. It should be on loop. Yes. So yeah, this trailer's getting a lot of backlash, a lot of controversy with it. There's just so much going on. First of all, I grew up in the 90s of the nostalgic 90s, if you will. They're nostalgic to me because I grew up in them. And really the golden age of Disney animation. You know, we had Beauty and the Beast, which won, I want to say it won an Academy Award. It won the first something for an animated film, and it truly is a masterpiece. We had Aladdin, we had Lion King, even stuff like the Black Cauldron that doesn't get, as much in the limelight, or doesn't get as much credit as it probably deserves. It was an incredible time for animation, that style of 2D animation. And, the animation, it didn't really matter. The animation doesn't matter. And how does this apply to you if you follow my channel and you're looking for like video advice and stuff? Story. That's really how this applies, is the story matters. Now, I haven't seen the film, but sometimes in a trailer, you can really get a sense of where the story is going to go. There's a lot of political stuff inside of this that, is playing to our modern day culture. First of all, this is based off a Grimm Brothers story. And if you don't know who the Grimm Brothers are, they wrote a lot of the children's stories that you know today. And I'm pretty sure they were from, or based in either Germany or Scandinavia, somewhere in Europe, and all their stories would have had white European people in them. And hey, there's lots of stories that we should be telling from all over the world, but we don't have to just insert a certain ethnicity because that we're in this woke culture. But you guys know what's up. Y'all know the score. Y'all know what's going on with all that. And that's why you see the huntsman in this is a black guy. And hey, he might have an amazing performance. And if he does, I'm all about it. Like, to me, it's all about the story and it's all about the performance. I don't necessarily care that she is not. I mean, it's in the name, Snow White. She should probably be like a super white chick. Even like the original character's skin was almost, it was almost white. Um, but you know, they dropped the ball on that. The dwarfs are a whole nother thing. You know, to me, gosh, and I think of movies like Lord of the Rings, and I think of movies that actually have real dwarf actors in them. And I did see somebody on somebody's podcast, they were like, the dwarves in, you know, Hollywood are probably the most underrepresented class of actors. Now, don't get me wrong, they have their roles, they do great. But when an opportunity like this comes up to cast 7 awesome dwarves, I'm talking about real dwarves that could play dwarves, and then you go with this CGI bullshit, you know, it's a missed opportunity because, you know, there are a lot of talented dwarf actors that could have, you know, filled these roles and been awesome. And then the dwarves don't even look good. Like, they just don't look good to me. They remind me of like Beowulf, if you remember that animation, that movie. It was a really bad. It was one of those where they, you know, put all the little sensors on somebody and real actors acted it out, and then they, you know, animate or basically create the animation on top of that. I don't know what that's called. It's the same thing with Polar Express. That's kind of what these dwarves remind me of. Now, aesthetically, take away all the actors, take away the CGI people. I think the aesthetic looks really good, and it does remind me of the classic movie. And like I said, guys, I grew up with, and I could probably go pull them out of my mom's house right now. We had a giant box of VHS tapes that were all like the classic Disney movies. And, you know, at that time, we didn't know that this was going to be a golden era of Disney. We just were living it. So we were watching these movies, The Lion King, Aladdin, you know, Sleeping Beauty, all these movies. We were just watching them, but looking back, like, God, that was a really good time. And to end today, and I'll tell you this, I got 3 kids, okay? I got 3 kids, and right now, when I ask my kids what do they want to watch, they want to watch those 90 movies. They're not requesting these live action bullshit movies. And it's not because they feel the way I do. It's not the nostalgia. It's just kids latch on to good stories and they drift when a good story is not being told. When there's something on that really isn't a good story, you can tell they kind of drift. Now, you put Sleeping Beauty, Robin Hood, and I'm going back. Some of these are like not from the 90s, right? Aladdin, The Lion King, The Jungle Book. You put those 2D animations on, they're hooked onto it. And it's actually a really good gauge of storytelling. Like, can you sit your kids down and say, "Hey, let's watch this with me"? Do they get distracted and they can't really focus on it, or are they embedded in the story because it is putting it in front of them in a way that is digestible? My kids never want to watch these live action movies. And when we go to the theater, it ends up being a problem because I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old who, if they are not watching a movie that they can focus on and that leads them, it's bad because they start running around, acting up. And it's like, I got to get these kids out of the theater. And we've actually taken them to live action movies, and that's what happens. Now, we just took them to Moana, the second one. They're hooked on it, and that is a IP. I think Disney is doing a really good job with Moana. And notice though, there's not a lot of diversity inclusion, even though the whole thing is about, you know, these Pacific Islander people. But there's not like, oh, they're all Pacific Islanders, so we got to plug a white guy in there. Or they're all Pacific Islanders, so we got to have an Asian person. No, they're just telling the story right there in front of you that where it actually happened, you know? And the storytelling is phenomenal. And even as an adult, like, I forget that I'm watching a movie. And that's the telltale sign, I think, of a good movie is when you forget. And as a kid, I can tell you that I would forget I was watching a movie and I thought I was in the scene. I remember specifically watching the first couple of Harry Potters in theaters and literally coming out forgetting that I was in Mobile, Alabama watching a movie. So yeah, but this film is getting a lot of backlash. And another thing is her, right? The actress herself. Like, if this actress was not on the radar at all, and the kind of like the girl who played Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games, right? Great actress, really great actress actually. But before she had that part, and then the other girl who played in the Star Wars Return of the Jedi or whatever, they were just so low key. You didn't hear a lot of controversy out of them. This girl has just been wrecking her career with her woke ideology. And even if you have it, keep it to yourself because it's just not popular. And we're seeing that come to fruition. But she, she came out, she just had another movie too come out, Y2K or something. I have not watched it. I haven't really looked into it, but I know they lost a ton of money on it, and that's not good for her career. If you're an actress, it's kind of like if you're a soccer player. Like if your team's not getting results, it's not going to look good on you. So her movies are not getting results at the moment, but she's also just been so vocal about like woke stuff. I mean, I saw where she was talking about where she's never going to bleach her skin. And somebody brought up like the fact that no one had even said that. No one had asked her that. And so, it's a big problem in Hollywood, the woke ideology. But I do think we're at a turning point with this new president we have. But that's not helping the trailer. She's not white, which there's no, I mean, who cares other than the fact that it's in the name? Could you not save this chick for like Pocahontas or something? She would have actually made a really good Pocahontas now that I'm looking at her. But no, you had to have her as Snow White. That makes absolutely no sense to me as a casting director, as a casting choice. How are you choosing this chick as Snow White? And I've got a feeling, weirdly, the people who are normally the most vocal about politics and the wokeness that we're going through in the last, I don't know, 10 years, they tend to be not that great at their job. I don't know what it is. Now, there are the exceptions. I'm sure Tom Cruise has come out and said some really crazy stuff, and he's awesome. I got a feeling her acting is probably not top tier. I've seen her in a few other things, like some of her earlier stuff, where she was kind of like the B-list actor on set. And it was just B-list level. Like I didn't say, man, she should be like the main actress, the main character. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Definitely not in theaters. I will absolutely not go watch it in theaters, mainly because my kids are definitely not gonna sit still through this. But when it comes out on Disney, I'll check it out. There's gonna be a lot of people hate watching this, so it probably will boost its numbers in some way. Now, going back to the YouTube, that's something that's shattering the internet at the moment is the fact that it's breaking the likes to dislikes ratio. I think at like 97%. So it's currently holding the record after a week for the most dislikes to likes ratio on YouTube ever, beating out Baby Shark. And we know how much we hate Baby Shark. So very, very interesting. What does this mean to my audience? Story is key, guys. Story is key. I just got done doing a Christmas parade video for my town, and instead of just putting a montage of shots together, which I have done in the past, we've all made that mistake. I tried to insert a nice voiceover in the beginning of my town, and then I did a bunch of interviews, like man on the street type interviews. And even people told me today that I saw in town, like that video was so good because it not only did it encompass our parade, it also told the story of where Lucedale started and where it is today. So all to say, guys, story really matters. Time will tell if the story of this is any good. That would be the only thing that saves it. But as of right now, and it does hurt my heart, like for Disney, Walt Disney himself, like this is the film, the original film is the film that started modern animation and modern cinema as we know it, especially in the animation realm, because Walt Disney and his studio really put everything into this. There was not yet a good feature length animation film out there. There were a few, but they were really janky. Like, well, when it came to what they did, especially if you look right behind that at the shorts they were putting in theaters, not only was it longer, but it was 100 times better animation. The color was incredible. I don't think people understand because of how jaded we are and how much time has elapsed, but the original Snow White was beyond revolutionary. Like beyond revolutionary, and it is what started animation as you know it, and we take for granted. So the fact that like this one should have just flat out been off limits for Disney. Like we're not touching that unless we know for sure that we're gonna hit it right on the head, you know. But yeah, not excited about this. I've never liked any of the live actions. The Jungle Book was like a 7 out of 10, and that's like the best score I can give any of them. So time will tell. Again, guys, please like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you good content, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.